The security office suddenly felt too small, too fragile, like the walls around me were only pretending to be real. I kept staring down at the escalators while dozens of copies continued moving in perfect rhythm. Up and down. Up and down. Every one of them counting, every one of them learning, and every loop seemed to make them look a little more complete, a little more human, a little more like me. Then something changed. The counting stopped all at once, and every copy froze exactly where it stood. The silence that followed was worse than the voices. Much worse. Because for the first time all night, I could hear the machinery underneath the escalators, grinding, turning, working like something enormous was waking up beneath them all. A vibration traveled through the floor, and the railing beneath my hands trembled. Then another vibration followed, stronger this time. Somewhere below me, metal groaned, and the sound echoed through the empty corridors. I slowly backed away from the balcony. Every instinct told me to get back to the security office, lock the door, hide, and pretend none of this was happening. But before I could move, every copy turned its head toward me simultaneously. Hundreds of eyes locked onto my position, and my heart nearly stopped. Nobody moved, nobody blinked, nobody spoke. Then one of them stepped off the escalator. The copy looked almost normal. Almost. Until I noticed its legs were slightly too long and its arms slightly too short, like someone had built a person from memory and forgotten a few measurements. It started walking toward me. Another stepped off, then another, then another. Soon dozens of copies were leaving the escalators, spreading throughout the mall and searching. My flashlight slipped from my fingers, and the sound echoed louder than it should have. Instantly, every head snapped toward the noise. Then they started running. I turned and sprinted, my shoes slamming against the tile floor as storefronts blurred past. The food court flashed by on my left, the fountain on my right, and behind me came hundreds of footsteps, perfectly synchronized, like an army. I risked one glance backward. Big mistake. The copies were everywhere, pouring out of hallways, emerging from stores, and stepping out from behind kiosks. Each one was slightly different, each one more wrong than the last. Some had extra fingers, some had twisted faces, and some looked almost melted. But all of them wore my uniform, and all of them were chasing me. I reached the north entrance and grabbed the gate. Locked. Of course it was locked. I fumbled for my keys, dropped them, picked them up, and tried again. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold them. The footsteps were getting closer. 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 Then they stopped. I looked up. Every copy stood perfectly still 20 feet away. None of them crossed an invisible line on the floor. They simply watched, waiting. My radio crackled, and static exploded through the speaker. Then a voice whispered, "Don't let them touch the cone." I froze. The voice wasn't mine this time. It sounded older, tired, like someone who had been trapped here for years. Static swallowed the transmission, and then came one final sentence. "If they reach the bottom first, you're already gone." The radio died. Complete silence. Then every copy smiled and, together, they turned toward the escalators. Not toward me, but toward the escalators, toward whatever was waiting underneath. That's when I realized something horrifying. They weren't chasing me anymore. They were racing each other. And somehow, I was the prize.